One of the most important ways they're doing that brings me to rule number 4, which you use nutrition and health to sell foods. And for those of you who haven't been in the United States lately or seen the kinds of health claims that are on foods, I'll show you a few examples. Here's one for omega-3s, which are now being added to peanut butter, mayonnaise, milk, and cookies in order to provide an adequate amount of omega-3s in the United States diet, and also to sell foods. I went to a supermarket here in Copenhagen and was surprised to see so few health claims on food products. In Denmark, they don't fortify foods except with iodine, and the health claims are very, very quiet. The only one that's on this food is a fiber claim. But here's an American supermarket cereal with Kellogg's. It's got those little numbers up in the upper right-hand corner, and I noticed that they're here too. And number 2 is, this has 6 health claims on it. It'll make you smart, it'll give you a healthy heart, it doesn't have any trans fats, it will lower both serum cholesterol and your blood pressure, and it has an endorsement from the American Heart Association, which only cares about saturated fat and cholesterol, even though sugars appear 9 times in the ingredient list. And we now have health claims on everything, even fruits and vegetables. So it's not enough that blueberries are delicious, particularly when they're in season. They're now nature's #1 antioxidant fruit. And it's not only that artichokes are interesting vegetables to eat, they are now antioxidant powerhouses. And then this is the most hilarious example of a health claim on a food. This was a sticker on a Chiquita banana. We're seeing this on everything. And I went to another supermarket here in Copenhagen yesterday and found this box of this junky cereal, Wheatos, a chocolate cereal. Uh-oh, it's got 3 health claims on it. It's got 1 for low fat, 1 for whole grain, and 1 for fiber. This is the camel's nose under the tent. These things are coming. But what was even more interesting was that you are already advertising products for sustainability reasons, and there is the organic symbol on that box of whatever those flakes are. Here's where that's going, because that brings me to rule number 5, which is use sustainability to sell foods. The O products in the upper left-hand corner are Safeway's organic line of products, and they include not only milk and yogurt, but they also include junky foods like cereals and macaroni and cheese. We now have organic bottled water. That's the Tahoma product, and organic gummy bears. So you will be seeing organic on these kinds of products too, if you're not careful and don't keep those restrictions in. So the organic gummy bears bring me to the question of food marketing to children, which is a very big issue in the States these days. And there have been big reports about this that are very useful. And I've just illustrated here Cheez-Its, Kellogg's Cheez-Its product that's advertised to children. And the budget, $24 million for that product, that's Kellogg's budget in 2007 just for Cheez-Its, just that one product. That's its advertising budget. So an enormous amount of money is going into marketing to children, and there are 3 reasons for doing that. You want kids to learn about brands, you want them to ask their parents for the product, but what you really want is for kids to think that they're supposed to be eating their own foods, foods that are made specifically for them with cartoons on the package, kid cuisine. And you want that because you want kids to think that they know more about what they're supposed to eat than their parents do, so that they will want those branded foods. And I'll give you some examples of that with health claims on it. Here's a macaroni and cheese product with vitamin and health claims all over it, and a self-endorsement from Kraft Foods that this is one of its healthier products because it has added the vitamins. Here's a PepsiCo product with a smart spot on it. and the reason they do that is because it's got 0 grams of trans fat. And I've put the ingredient list on this to show you how long the ingredient list is. I have a rule no more than 5 ingredients, and so this would go in the category of foods that are outside my rule. And I do a lot of traveling, just to give you an idea that this is not restricted to the United States. This is a product from New Zealand that I saw last year with so many health claims I could barely count them all. Here's one from New Delhi, a Kellogg's chocolate cereal, which when you turn the box over said, was very sympathetic to parents' difficulty getting their kids to eat breakfast, and it said on it, 1 serving has the fiber of 2 chapatis. So they're advertising this Kellogg's cereal to replace chapatis in the Indian diet. In Adelaide, I saw Shrek absolutely everywhere on the most extraordinary number of products, most of them junk foods, and the only mention of vegetables was that Fruit Loops has the goodness of vegetables in it. But you're supposed to eat your vegetables. I don't know where Fruit Loops comes into that. Now, all of that taken together, it seems to me, it appears as if it is a collaboration between the food industry, the food companies, the food industry, public affairs, and public officials to encourage people to eat more food. And I would be very depressed about this if I didn't think that food was a new social movement, and that there weren't social movements all over our country and all over the world trying to do something about health and sustainability. Marketing to children, one issue. Calorie counting on menu boards, as we now have in New York City, another one. The slow food movement, eating slow, clean, and fair, and sustainably, another one. The organic movement, also part of sustainable agriculture. Local foods, very much emphasized as part of sustainable agriculture. The animal rights movement, very big in the States to raise animals more sustainably and healthfully. What's going on in schools in the States is extraordinarily important. These are grassroots democratic efforts to try to change the food systems on the local level. And then if you have infinite resources, as Google does, you can have food, free food for your entire population that is both healthful and sustainably produced. So what is healthy food? It's food that promotes both health and sustainability, and various groups in the States are putting out guidelines to do this. They're whole, minimally processed, naturally high in nutrients, moderate in calories, healthful with no artificial colors, flavors, mostly regional and local to the extent possible, and always sustainably produced. And I think that those of us who have choices in these matters can make personal choices for sustainable food, but we can also work to change policies that promote a healthful and sustainable food environment. And in order to do that, we also need to encourage food companies to make corporate changes and to take corporate responsibility to promote health and sustainability. And I have a list of things that corporations could do, and these include stop marketing junk foods, stop making misleading health claims, stop marketing to children, stop wasting natural resources, including the environment, and stop contributing to climate change. So all of us have a great deal to do along those lines. And I'll just end with the fact that none of this is new. In the 1940s, during the Second World War, the Department of Agriculture had guidelines for nutrition and health, and they were just the same kind of thing we're talking about. And I will stop there, except to say that my book, What to Eat, was translated into Hebrew last year, and they did a cartoon. And it was my first cartoon, and I was very proud of it. So I'd like to show. Thank you very much.